Hey peeps, we are back. Happy Saturday, and first of all, I would like to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. I'm wishing you nothing but the best, and I hope that you all get a chance to spend time with your family and especially your children. So I just wanted to say thank you to all the peeps and Happy Mother's Day. So it's Saturday. I am getting ready to watch the Versus. In case you guys are not aware, tonight is the night that SWV versus Escape for the Versus. And I will definitely be watching that tonight. And I am rooting for Escape. I know everyone is saying that SWV is about to crush them and they're going to win, but I'm an Escape fan, okay? I have decided that this evening when I watch the Versus, I will be having popcorn and a little bit of apple flavored Amsterdam vodka with lime and soda water. That is absolutely delicious. Let me just say that it's delicious. So that's what I'll be drinking tonight and having a little popcorn while I watch the Versus. So, you know, it's our Saturday thing. It's story time. So, oh gosh. Whenever we do story time, I am always trying to go back down memory lane. Just trying to see things that I remember. So, all right. So there was this one time, not at band camp, but anyway, there was this one time that my little brother, I have two sisters and a little brother. Okay. So my little brother was outside with his friends. He's a very rambunctious little boy. He really was. And he's outside with his friends. It turns out that it was a total of 4 of them. And one of them actually had the same color pants and the same color shirt as my little brother. But they're all outside playing and having a good time. And one of his friends either threw a rock or did something to one of the neighbors' cars. And when the kid threw the rock or whatever, my little brother was freaked out. This kid is rambunctious and he's all over the place. But one thing about my little brother is he's always been the kid that follows the rules. Oh my gosh, he is not a rule breaker at all. He got nervous, so he runs home and he gets into the house, and then all of a sudden this neighbor comes down to our house and he's knocking on the door. So my little brother really quickly tells my mom everything that happened, and my mom says, well, let me get the door, so she goes to the door, and the guy says, your son, he threw the rock and blah, blah, blah. And my mom said, well, I've spoken to my son, and it was not him that threw the rock. You need to check with X, Y, and Z, and their son, my son was not the one who threw the rock. And the guy continued to press my mom, and your son, blah, blah, blah. And my mom is not the one to press. She really isn't. And my mom turned around, to go back in the house. Well, this dude has clearly lost his daggone mind. He tries to grab my mom by the arm. And let me tell you something, honey, you don't do that. You don't do that. You don't grab my mama or me or any of my siblings by the arm unless you want to get hurt. Because let me tell you, we are not people that always go for the physical violence first, but if you put your hands on us, we go for the violence. You know what I'm saying? So he goes to grab my mom by the arm. That was a mistake. At that point in our lives, my mom used to be a smoker. She stopped smoking about 10 or 12 years ago, so she's smoke free now. But at that time, she was a smoker. Honey, listen, she turned around. She took that cigarette and she put it right on that man's arm. Oh my God, he flinched back real fast. And I was like, oh shoot. Next thing you know, he tries to go back towards my mother. Honey, listen. No, sir. Next thing you know, me and my 2 sisters was whooping that man's ass out in the front yard. I mean, it was something else. Like, we were physically tussling. We whooped the hell out of that man in the front yard. Now, mind you, we were kids. I was the oldest, and I was about 16 or 17. Honey, we tore the clothes off this man. What you won't do is put your hands on my mama. Like, that's just not okay. Next thing you know, this man is hobbling and running, trying to get to his house. When my dad gets home, my dad see us out on the front porch talking mad crap. We explain to him the situation. Oh man, now let me tell you, my dad is a peaceful man. He is an extremely peaceful man. The man does not believe in violence. But when he found out that some grown man from down the street put his hands on his wife, I don't know. My dad does not play. Are you kidding me? Listen, my dad checks on all of us. He wants to make sure his girls are okay. Everybody's all right. There's no scratches on my babies. My girls is good. My wife, she's fine. He calmly takes his bags, because he had gone to the store, into the house. Listen, next thing you know, all I see is my dad in a 45 marching down the street. Okay? My dad goes to the dude's house, knocks on the door, and he lets that dude know. He's like, fella, we've never had problems before. And let me let you know, we never gonna have problems again. For the rest of your ever-loving life, don't you ever bring yourself on my property. Don't you look at my wife. Don't you talk to my wife. Don't you even blink too close to my wife. If you do, this fofo is gonna let you know that you in the wrong place. You understand? And that man could not apologize enough. Listen, to this very day, they still live in the same house. That man still lives in his house. And honey, every time you walk by, drive by, skip by, he is smiling and waving. Hey, we don't play. And just to tell you how much we don't play, and since I've already said that, one time, oh my God, we had a family cookout at our house. Okay. Our place is the place. You know what I mean? Big backyard, huge deck. My dad is like a grill master. He needs his own restaurant. We've been telling him this for years. Everybody's been telling him this for years. And so everybody likes to come to our house. So we would have these parties, in the backyard for family, lots of ribs and brats and chicken and all that stuff. Anyway, we have this party and it's a bunch of teenage family members, a bunch of, early 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, the family. Something happens. I have no idea what transpired, but a whole big argument pops off between the teens and the 20s. Okay, pops off. And I wasn't there when the pop off happened. I had went somewhere with some of my friends and, I show back up at the house and it's like WrestleMania, you know what I mean? Or what is that? The Royal Rumble. You remember the Royal Rumble when it was WWF and now it's WWE, whatever. It was the Royal Rumble. Let me tell you, it was like 20 family members, men and women, out in the front yard brawling. Okay, it was a serious brawl. I pulled up, jumped out the car. I'm like, wait a minute, what is happening? And I noticed that my sisters are in the mix. So the next thing you know, what? Okay, my sisters are in this. So I'm out here fighting too. So we're all fighting out in the front yard. The parents are all trying to scream and get their kids and figure out what the hell is going on. It was so crazy. I mean, listen, people were bruised up, bloodied up, screaming and hollering, just making a complete embarrassment of everybody out in the front yard. Just embarrassing the hell out of my parents. Mom, I'm sorry about that, hon. Anyway, it was just a mess. And then after all of this, I'm just kind of standing out on the front lawn thinking to myself, what was this fight about? I don't know. It never occurred to me that maybe I should find out what the fight's about. Maybe I should try to break the fight up. But I just thought, my sisters are fighting me too. It's always been like that. Ever since I was a young girl, if I see my family fighting or if I see my sister fighting, I'll jump in, especially if it's not a fair fight. Now, I found out about fair fights at an extremely young age. I was in the 4th grade and there were these girls, they were siblings. Every day they would chase me home. Every day I would run home from school crying because I was a walker. My school was at the corner of our street and my house was at the very last house on the street. So every day I would run home as fast as I can, get in the house and slam the door. And my mom was always at work. So I was one of those kids that had to, fend for myself while my mom was working. At that point, my mom was a single mother and, she did what she had to do. She had to work. She was also going to school. She was trying to do the best she could for me. And when I got home from school, she wasn't home. She wouldn't be home for 2 hours after I got home from school. But I always knew, come straight home, get in the house, lock the door, don't answer the door for anybody. Funny side story, my dad lived out of town in West Virginia. He drove all the way to Columbus one time and he came to my house and he knocked on the door, but I didn't let him in because she said I couldn't. And the funny thing about it is I screamed to him through the door, "I'm sorry, I can't open the door because mom's not home and she says I can't let anybody in." And my dad, being the most amazing guy ever, he said to me, "That's okay. You are doing the right thing. You are following your mom's rules. You do not have to open the door. I love you." And I told him how much I loved him. Do you know he got back on his motorcycle and drove all the way back to West Virginia? And when my mom came home, I said, "My dad showed up, but I didn't let him in because you said not to open the door." And she thought, holy shit, what is wrong with you? But at the same time, she said, well, you always follow the rules. I do the best to follow the rules. Anyway, what the hell was I talking about? What was I talking about? Oh, the people. I had forgot what I was talking about. Jeez. Anyway, so one day I was coming home and I was running home and I got all the way to the house and I was so excited because I was thinking, oh my God, these girls are about to kill me. I get the key in the door and the door opens and I'm shocked. It's my mom. And she says, "Why are you running?" And I was trying to get around it and acting as if there was no big deal. And she says, "No, seriously, why were you running? Is somebody chasing you?" And she looks at me and she says, "You are not going to lie to me." And I told her, I said, "Yeah, the 2 girls next door." And she says, "Oh, for real?" And I said, "Yeah." She said, "Well, how often is this happening?" And I told her the truth. And she says, "Oh, well, it stops today." And she says, "Go on in there and take your little earrings off, put your hair back in a ponytail, get you some tennis shoes on and come on back out." And I said, "What?" She said, "And wait a minute, put some Vaseline on your face." And I thought, oh my gosh. And she says, "You're either going to come downstairs and handle these little girls or you're going to deal with me." I said, "Oh, wait, where's the Vaseline?" Okay, so listen, honey, we get downstairs, okay, because you had to walk up steps to get to our door. We get down the steps and the 2 girls are out there. And my mom says hello to their father. He was actually their grandfather. She says hello to him and she says, "Well, your granddaughters are chasing my daughter home every day. They want to fight her." And he's like, "What?" She says, "So if they want to fight her, let's do it right now." She said, "We'll just have a fair fight." She said, "They're not going to chase my daughter home every day. She's not going to be a runner. We don't run, we fight." And I'm just sitting here like, oh my God, they're going to jump me. And she says, "No, they're not going to jump you." She's like, "You're going to whoop their ass one at a time." And I'm just sitting here like, oh my God, what? Next thing you know, listen, something just snapped. I beat the hell out of those girls. And let me tell you, the grandfather, he was ticked. He was trying to jump in and save his granddaughters. And my mom stood right in front of him. And she said, "Dude, take one more step and I will lay you down because you look casket ready." I was like, oh my God. The dude stepped back. The little girls retreated back into their house. And let me tell you what happened. The next day, they stood right by our porch and said, "Can we walk to school with you?" And every day after that, we walked to and from school together. We was play cousins. Yeah, play cousins. And their grandfather loved me. My mom said, that is how you handle a bully. You do not let the bully keep bullying you. You have to stand up to a bully. And that is how it has always been. When my son was in the 8th grade, there was a kid that was a little bit bigger than my son, which it takes a lot to be bigger than my boy because my son is huge. He is so tall. He's not huge, weight-wise. He's huge in height. This kid kept hitting my son on the back of the head. And he came home one day and he said, Mom, there's this kid. Every day in the hallway, he hits me on the back of the head and everybody starts laughing and everybody thinks it's so funny. And I am so sick of getting hit on the back of the head. And I said, well, you know what, son? I said, the next time that guy hits you in the back of the head, you have my permission to knock the hell out of that boy. I said, because what is happening is you are being punked, you are being bullied. And he thinks it's okay to keep hitting you because you don't do anything in return. I said, all you have to do is hit him one time and he'll never do that to you again. And he said, okay, Mom. So the next day I'm at work, minding my business, just typing away. And I get a call from my son. He says, Mom, I was just in the hallway and that boy hit again. And he said, are you sure it's okay for me to punch him? And I said, hell yes. Let him have it. Well, honey, listen, not a good 10 minutes later, the school called me. And the principal, she said, Miss Terrell. I said, yes. She said, we have your son in the office. He just punched another student and he said that you told him to. And do you know what I said? I did. He's not lying to you, ma'am. That little boy hits my son every day. I told him to level him. That's exactly what I said. And she said, well, he's going to be suspended. I said, well, I'll be there to pick him up. Thank you, ma'am. Honey, listen, I got to the office and I asked her, I said, where do I sign? And she said, oh gosh. She said, you can tell that your son is an honor roll student and has never gotten into trouble. She said, you don't have to sign anything. She says, as a matter of fact, I actually interrogated a ton of kids who were there and they told me that this kid hits your son on the back of the head every day and that your son just said, I'm done today. She said, so he's only going to be asked to stay home for 2 days and the other kid is suspended for 10 days. And I said, that's fine with us. And I took him to Dairy Queen. Honey, I don't play that. You cannot let people bully you. I do not condone violence. I have said that 1,000 times. I'm a grown woman now. So now I don't fight with my fist or my hands. I fight verbally. I will spar with you verbally. But as a teenager, I was a brawler. And I told my son the same thing my mom told me. Handle a bully before it gets too far. You got to stop them in their tracks. And that was that. So anyway, peeps, I hope you don't see this video and all of a sudden think that I'm just some sort of violent person. That was then. That was then. And there's a whole lot of other fights too, but I don't want to make this video too long. And then of course, at the end of the video, I always give you a little segment about my romantic life. And we're still talking about Eric. We have not gotten to Aaron yet. You know what? I don't even know if my heart can get into Aaron. This dude really ripped my heart out. Anyway, so I'm going to tell you the story about when I had my son. And he was about 3 months old and I took him over to Eric's place. And he came outside and his brother came outside and his sister came outside and they were all oohing and eyeing over the baby. However, none of them wanted to accept my son. It was the mama's baby, daddy's maybe situation. And his sister said, do you mind if I take him in the house? And, I'm not dumb. I said, I know what the hell this is about. His mother wants to see this baby and she wants to know if he looks like them. And I said, well, you know what? I'll play the game a little bit. You know what I mean? I'll tap dance, do a little jig for a minute, So I told her, I said, yeah, sure. You can take him in the house for 5 minutes. And I told her, let's synchronize watches because I'm giving you 5 minutes and 1 second after that, I'm coming in. I don't play that. I don't understand this situation with you people. So she takes him in and, I look at my watch and, the 5 minutes was up. So as I'm starting to make my way up the porch, because I don't play when it comes to this tiny baby, she's coming out. And I said, okay. And she said, oh, my mom says that he's so beautiful. Oh my gosh, he's such a cute baby. And I said, because I had words with his mother, and she told me pretty much they don't accept babies in their family without DNA. And I said, that's fine with me. I'm down any day, anytime. I'm good. You know what I mean? Because I'm not a sleep around kind of girl. You don't pass me around. I don't play that. Anyway, time goes by. This dude is so freaking shady. He is telling me that he's absolutely positive that my son is his, everything is great. But obviously he's telling his family something different. So we end up getting these DNA tests, and I was ticked off because he waited so long. Every time that I would show up to have the DNA test, he wouldn't. So when the court ordered it, he finally shows up. And by this time, my son's 8. And I was pissed because I'm a criminal justice major. I watch all kinds of crime programs. I mean, my TV stays on Discovery ID. And this dude waits until this child is 8 years old. So we're there to get swabbed. And as soon as the people pull out the swabs, my son says, they're after my DNA. And I said, oh gosh. I mean, I was so ticked because I didn't want my baby to know about this. So anyway, we take the test and get everything done. And let me tell you how shady I am. I am Petty Betty, okay? I am the queen of all pettiness, okay? So when the test results cover the mail, they say 99.9% that he is the father, okay? It was almost, like on Maury.
You are the father.
But anyway, I get the paper or I make a copy of it. It was right around Mother's Day. So I get a nice card for grandma. I fold up the DNA results and put it right in the card and mail it to his mama. That's right. I don't play that. We're not doing that. Okay, one thing is for sure. In relationships, I can be a little crazy, a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit. But what I am not is a liar. What I am not is sleep around Sally. I don't play that. I don't open my legs for every man in the streets. That is not who my mama raised. So I was a little bit pissed off, but I just wanted everybody to know. So after that, everyone was absolutely positive. Okay. And everything was different, but the same. At this point, I was just heated, you know what I mean? And there was so many things that happened in between that. At one time, my son was about maybe 2 months old, and his father came over to visit. And he was there for several hours, just talking, laughing, eating, playing with the baby and everything. And then he left. And after he left, it was probably about an hour later, I went in my purse for something and found out this dude had stolen $75 from me. It was my last $75. And I immediately broke into tears because I thought, I cannot believe this. I am a single mom who pays my own car payment, my own rent, my own utilities. I do not get welfare in any way. I work every day. I'm paying $250 a week for daycare. And now I found out that my son has to be on special formula that costs $250 a month just to buy the formula. And the formula at that time, I don't know what it is now, but at the time it only came in 32-ounce cans, and the cans were $7.99 each. And he would go through at that time like 2 or 3 cans a day. And this dude is stealing from me. I mean, I just started bawling my eyes out. I mean, it was uncontrollable. I remember picking up the phone and I called him. Oh my God, I'm getting emotional just talking about it. I remember picking up the phone and I called him, and oh my God, I don't know what came over me, but I just unleashed the most vile things just came up like bile. I just literally verbally slaughtered this dude. and insisted that if he did not bring me my money back, I was going to come for him. And I wasn't coming empty-handed. I was ticked. This dude shows up 15 minutes later and gives me my money back and apologizes. I was just thinking, you would steal from your child's mother? What the hell? What made you think that you could just go in my purse and steal from me? I mean, listen, honey, listen, we have all had shady dudes in our lives, but to me, that was the worst. And the crazy thing is maybe about 2 months later, I was at Walmart and I had $20 to my name. That was enough to buy 2 cans of this formula that he needed. And I was standing in line and I knew it was about 4 days until payday. I had tears in my eyes, and this lady, I'll never forget it. She had blue eyes and the prettiest jet black hair I've ever seen. She walks up to me, she's standing in line behind me, and she saw the cans of formula. And she said, "Why do you buy that kind of formula?" And I said, "Well, my son has really bad acid reflux and he's got to have this special formula." And she says, "Wow." She says, "You know, I have a granddaughter who has really bad acid reflux and she uses Carnation Good Start in the purple can." She said, "And it's like $2.52 a can." And I looked at that lady and I said, with tears in my eyes, "I'll never forget that. I will never forget that." And I said, "Do you think that will work for my baby?" And she said, "I don't see why not." And I got out of line. I put that formula back, which was called Alimentum. I put that formula back and I grabbed 5 or 6 cans of the Carnation Good Start. And I prayed about it all the way home. I said, "Dear Lord, please let this formula work for my baby. Please, like, what am I gonna do?" So I get home and I give him the formula, and oh my gosh, he loved it. It was a lot better than the Alimentum. It smelled better. It wasn't all thick and gooky like the Alimentum, and he didn't throw it back up, none of that. And the next time I went to the pediatrician, he says, "Well, how's he doing on the Alimentum?" And I said, "He's not. He's on Carnation Good Start now." And the pediatrician said, "Carnation makes a formula?" And I said, "Goodbye, sir." That was the last time we ever saw that pediatrician. To me, I think that if you are a pediatrician, you should know every formula front and back. There should never be a formula you don't know. I'm just saying. I mean, I could be wrong and I could be being mean to this pediatrician for no reason. But to me, I feel that if it is your responsibility to take care of talented people, you should know. Anyway, you guys, that is story time for tonight. You guys are my people. And if you noticed at the beginning of this video, it gives you my Venmo and Cash App, my Instagram and my Twitter, because I want to engage with you guys on Instagram and Twitter. And I put the Venmo and the Cash App on there because I've been getting emails with people asking me about how they can support my channel. So I created a Cash App and a Venmo. So anyway, until next time, you guys, and happy Mother's Day. Bye.